One.
Good day. My name is Joshua Dagan. Together, I'm here with Ken Harrison Bahon, Queen Tagailo, and Maisy Madraga. And we're going to answer about a philosophical question and thesis. Philosophy is inherently comparative in nature. The act of philosophizing requires constant comparison between concepts, ideas, perspectives, and modes of thinking in order to arrive at the deeper truths. To start, Queen will tell her supporting points. Queen?
For the first supporting point, philosophy by its very nature requires a deep inquiry in the nature of reality, existence, and knowledge. In order to accomplish this, philosopher must constantly compare and contrast different concepts and ideas. Second supporting point, the act of philosophizing involves weighing different perspectives, analyzing potential contradictions, and exploring new ways of thinking. Lastly, by embracing comparison as a tool for inquiry, philosophers are able to unlock new perspective and insight that might not otherwise be possible. So, for the valid objections, Maisie will be the one to discuss it.
For the first objection, while philosophy does involve exploring big questions about reality, existence, and knowledge, philosophers don't always need to compare different ideas to this. Some approaches like existentialism or mythicism focuses more on personal experience or intuition, showing that deep thinking can happen without always having to compare things. Second, philosophizing can also involve following your intuition, having revelations, or engaging in meditation without needing to compare different ideas. Third, while comparison can reveal new insights, it can also lead to relativism where all perspectives are seen as equally valid, potentially the search for truth. Philosophers like Frederick critique the endless comparison analysis as potentially paralyzing, arguing instead for the creation of new values and perspectives. To answer these objections, Harry,
You see, Maisie, even when philosophers are lost in their own world of thoughts and feelings, they can completely shut out everything else. So they end up drawing comparison whether they mean to or not. So it's like trying to understand a really complex puzzle. So you need to look at different pieces and see how they fit together. So yeah, while comparing things might not be the main goal, it's kind of like the glue that helps hold everything together in the world of ideas. And imagine having a mind-blowing revelations, like stumbling upon a hidden treasure, and it is exciting, but you're left wondering what that treasure actually is and what it means. So that's where comparing it to other things comes in handy. So it's like examining the treasure from different angles, comparing it to other valuable objects you've seen. So this helps us figure out its true worth and place in the grand scheme of things. And lastly, comparing ideas is like having a toolbox filled with different tools. So you can use them to build something incredible or you can just make a mess. This trick is to be skilled craftsman, so knowing when to use the right tool for the job instead of just throwing everything together. So you need to carefully examine each piece, weigh its pros and cons, and see how it fits with the bigger picture. So that's it. Joshua?
Now, to illustrate answer number one, consider Jean-Paul Sartre's existentialism, in which he emphasizes personal freedom but also compares authentic living with social expectations. By contrasting these, Sartre deepens our understanding of what it means to live authentically. Now, in the second example of answer number two, I shall impart on Soren Kierkegaard's concept of the leap of faith, which begins with personal experience but gains clarity when compared rationality and ethics. This comparison helps explain the nature of faith more thoroughly. Now, in the final example, I will explain by using Friedrich Nietzsche, who critiqued traditional morality by comparing it to a master and slave moralities. Now, this comparison wasn't relativistic, but aimed to discovering deeper transformative values like the concept of the Ubermensch. Now, moving on to the insight, each of us will provide first for Queen.
First insight, is more than just comparison. Philosophers also analyze ideas, evaluate arguments, create new concepts and theories, reframe issues, and more. But comparison is a key technique philosophers use to gain new understanding and make progress on philosophical questions.
Kierkegaard's idea of the leap of faith starts with the personal and instinctive experience of the divine. something that goes beyond logical thinking. However, to better explain this idea, Kierkegaard compares it to rational thought, ethical rules, and the limits of what we can understand. By doing this, he gives a clear and more complete picture of what religious belief is all about. In the second example, I will explore Kierkegaard's leap of faith. This idea starts with a personal experience, but it becomes easier to understand when compared to rationality and ethics.
So, comparison is an integral aspect of philosophical inquiry. So, whether explicit or implicit, it serves as a foundation for understanding personal experiences, developing complex arguments, and evaluating different perspectives. So, while it can be misused when employed critically, comparison is a valuable tool for philosophical exploration and growth. Joshua?
To conclude as a group, philosophy is all about comparing ideas. Even when we focus on personal experiences, we naturally contrast them with other concepts to understand them better. We believe that thoughtful comparison is key to uncovering deeper truths and building stronger philosophical insights.
So, thank you, everyone. And that's our discussion for tonight.